What up, y'all? It's your boy here again with another shorty. Yeah, I just got finished. I just did the craziest fight that I had been in elementary school. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna tell you about one of the craziest fights that I witnessed in elementary school. And this was still at Malcolm X Elementary School. As a matter of fact, this was the year before. This was when I was in first grade. It was a fight in the cafeteria. Now, the cafeteria at Malcolm X, I'm still at Malcolm X. The cafeteria at Malcolm X was a multi-purpose room. It was the cafeteria, the gym, and the auditorium all at the same time. So when it was lunchtime, they made it into a cafeteria. They bring the tables in there and it was cafeteria. If it wasn't lunchtime, it was the gym. They would lower the basketball hoops down, the ropes, everything, and turn it to a gym. And if it was a time for an assembly, they put that stuff up, bring the folding chairs up out there. It was a stage in there, and it was all of a sudden the auditorium. It was a multi-purpose room. Well, we was in lunch one day, and these two dudes got into it because it was a food fight. And the dude had threw something at a dude, and the dude saw him. And both these dudes were in my class. So they ended up getting into a fight. And what happened was, this is Baltimore City schools. So Baltimore City schools used to serve them hot trays for lunch. It was like you had hot food in these aluminum trays. It might be like some cheap turkey meat and gravy, but like carrots and string beans or something, or some nasty prison pizza they would have you eating. But they were in these hot aluminum trays. So when these two dudes were fighting, the one dude, he hit the dude and dropped him. He hit him good, like he hit him like in his eye or something, where he was disoriented. He hit him, he fell down to the ground and was taking a while to get up. So while he was getting up, the dude that hit him, he went and took his lunch tray, that aluminum tray, and kind of like balled it up and got it almost to like a point. And when the dude finally got up, he went up to him and bopped him right in his forehead with like that balled up hot aluminum tray. And that it got sharp because he balled it up. And he balled it up like it was almost to a point, and it was sharp. He hit him right in his forehead and bust his forehead wide open with that hot tray. Bust his head wide open. Do you know when they did that? We in the cafeteria. This is lunch. People got food and everything. What they would do is, when you would get in trouble, if you talked too much, you did anything in there, what they would do is they would make you go stand up on the stage. And they had an area where you would just stand there. You wasn't allowed to eat no more. You had to just stand there in front of everybody and stand there looking like a clown because you was in the acting up in the cafeteria. He done bust this dude head open with that hot aluminum tray that he balled up. To the white meat. I'm talking about to the white meat. It was the white meat, okay? Again, they didn't send him to the nurse. They made the two of them, it didn't even break up the fight. Once he hit him with that aluminum tray, the fight was over. He bleeding. They made the two of them go stand up on that stage and just stand there for the rest of lunch period. This dude he up there, but he done got like a napkin and put on his head. He hold like a napkin on his forehead. He bleeding. He bust him you could see the white meat. No nurse, no nothing. You go stand up on the stage just as if he was talking too much. He done got his head bust open and his eyes black from when he got popped before. So he done got a black eye, his eye done swole up, and he got his head bust open to the white meat. No nurse, no nothing. Y'all go stand up on that stage. And he just stood up there for the rest of the period, for the rest of the lunch period. And we went back to eating. This how crazy Malcolm X was. We went back to eating. They just made them two stand up there and told us to go ahead and eat. And after lunch was over, both them dudes was in my class. After lunch was over, we went back to class. This dude, they didn't get sent to the office. He didn't get sent to the nurse. They went back to class. He's in class now with a black eye and sitting here. He went and got some more paper towels, whatever, to hold over his head. And he basically had to nurse himself. He didn't get sent home. He didn't get sent to the nurse. Nothing. I don't know if we even had a nurse in that school. But neither one of them ever went to the office. They didn't get suspended. They didn't get nothing. They just went back to class. How you bust somebody's head open during school in the cafeteria? And he bust his head open to the white meat. When he would like take that thing off and like replace it with another like paper towels or whatever, you can see it. He busted him clear to the white meat. You can see it when it happened. That he got busted clear to the white meat. He bust that boy head open with a hot aluminum tray from the cafeteria. Never got medical attention. So I don't know what he told his mama when he got back home, but nothing ever happened. They didn't get suspended, nothing. Like I said, at that school, you didn't get in trouble for nothing. You just did whatever, and it's like they just let whatever happen. It was crazy up there, man. It was wild, man. I mean, I could just thinking about the different things that they just were allowed to happen in that school without like no consequence, the fights, just the violence. You can look it up. I remember my kindergarten teacher. Her name was Miss Julie Lombardi, and you can Google this. She was my kindergarten teacher, and she was teaching there. She was still teaching there when we was in high school. She was still there. She ended up getting beat up in the parking lot by students that go there, and she was pregnant and she lost her baby. Lost her baby in the parking lot, got beat up by students. The school only goes up to 3rd grade. Students, and they beat her up in the parking lot, and she was pregnant and lost her baby. You can Google it. Julie Lombardi, Malcolm X Elementary School. That's the type of school that school was. Lower Park Heights kids, man. Stuff was going on all the time. People would get beat up, like severely beaten up. And they wouldn't even, like I said, at best, they would call your parents. You know what I'm saying? And if your parents came up there to deal with you, they would let your parent just beat you right there. Like I got a beating in school. Because back then, they would have like, you know how you had like PTA meetings, like at night, like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, where you go up there and find out what your child is up there doing. Well, back then, they had PTA meetings during the day. Like a PTA meeting might be 10 o'clock in the morning. They come up there while we in class. And I remember one time we was in class and all these parents were in our class, and it was a dude, it was in that same class, 1st grade. Class clown. He always wanted to be funny, disruptive. And when we had that PTA meeting, his mother was there. And our teacher, she ratted him out. And she told the teacher, she told him. And matter of fact, she asked the class. She asked us. She told us, I'm going to beat his behind. And all I want to know is, should I wait till I get home and beat him? Or should I beat him now? And everybody looking around, we like, go ahead and beat him now. Do you know that woman went in her purse, pulled a belt out? She must have knew she was going to get him. She had the belt in her purse. Went in her purse, pulled this belt out, and she wore his behind her right there in the class. Everybody there laughing. I'm laughing at him. Because the teacher ain't do nothing. He got whooped by his mother right in class in front of everybody. Teacher ain't do nothing. We in there dying laughing. She didn't even tell us to stop laughing. Wore him out. And like I said, I got wore out in class. I got wore out. You see, when I got it, it wasn't in front of everybody. I got it. I got at the school detention for something. I forgot what it was. I got detention after school detention for, and my aunt had to come get me because they wouldn't even let me walk home because we walked to school. And so they made I forgot what I did, but they made my aunt come and get me. And when she came and got me and the teacher told her what I did and why I had detention, my aunt wore me out right there in class in front of the teacher. Teacher ain't do nothing. They let it go. They let it go. And I think it was either second or third grade. The teachers would beat you. They would, I remember them, you got the acting up, they pull that ruler out and start lining people up at the bathroom. You would get whoopings with the ruler. Like they was doing stuff that I'm sure you wasn't supposed to be doing. The teachers were beating students up in Malcolm X Elementary School with the ruler. I never got it from a teacher, but I remember seeing them lined up. The teacher called, look, you out there in the bathroom. And they lined up in the bathroom and she would go in there with that ruler, go in there and whoop them. The teacher whooping them. I remember when I was in third grade, we had this psycho teacher. She was one of my teachers. She made me hook school. This is how scared I was of her. We was in class one day, and the class acting a fool. And she assigned us some homework, and wasn't nobody paying her no mind. Everybody talking, acting stupid, throwing paper at each other. And she just snapped. She zapped out, and she was screaming at us into the. Y'all gonna do this homework. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm gonna do if you don't do your homework. You come in here tomorrow and your homework ain't done. This is what I'm gonna do to you. This woman went and took some like that yellow tape that they use in school, that little yellow masking tape or whatever. She put like a roll around her finger. She wrapped a couple wraps around her finger with that tape. And she took a stapler and stapled her own finger. She stapled her own finger. You could see the blood coming through that tape. That staple went through that tape and went in her finger. She stapled herself and said, if we didn't do our homework and they come in here the next day with that homework, she was going to do that to us. And to prove she was going to do it to us, she did it to herself. Let me tell you something right now. I did not do my homework. And when I came to school that next day, before I went to her class, because I had her like the second half of the day, I left and went to the office and told them I was sick and I had to go home. And I ended up going home. Because I believed that she was going to do that because she was crazy enough to do it to herself. If a woman crazy enough to staple her own finger just to prove a point, I believe she'll do it to me. And because this school seemed to just allow for anything to happen up here, I believe she was going to do it. And I faked it. I was sick. I got to go home. So I wasn't going in there with her. I ain't messing with that woman no more the rest of the school year, man. She proved to me that she was crazy. She's a psychopath. But that school was wild, man. That school ain't even open no more. They if you're not familiar with Malcolm X Elementary School was right on Ricerstown and Shirley Avenue. And so probably the best way to describe it is if you're at Ricerstown and Cold Spring and you turn onto, if you're on Cold Spring and you turn onto Ricerstown Road going towards Druid Hill Park, as you're going down Ricerstown Road, I believe it's the first light. I believe the first light is Shirley Avenue. It used to be a car wash right there on the right-hand side. The car wash is right beside the school. So there was a car wash right there on the corner of Ricerstown and Shirley. They turned that thing into so many different things over the years. But there was a car wash right there. It was a white car wash. And at that light is Shirley. You made a right there. And the school was, the only thing back there is Malcolm X Elementary School. So that's like the best way to tell you how to get there. And all the Lower Park Heights kids went there. And it was off the hook. They closed that school down a long time ago. And it at one point housed KIPP Academy, which is where my daughter went there. My baby boy is there now. He about to graduate. But they stopped using that building a long time ago. They they moved from out of there. It used to be that the middle school part of KIPP was at Green Spring Middle, and Harmony, which is the elementary school, was at Malcolm X. They merged the two, and everybody started going to the Green Spring Middle School campus. And they just closed down Malcolm X. And now they done closed down Green Spring. They moved them all to Walbrook. They renovated Walbrook High School, turned it into KIPP. So they're all at Walbrook now. So there's nobody in Green Spring Middle School, Malcolm X Elementary School, and they closed down Martin Luther King a few years ago. So all three of those schools are closed now, but the building's still there. I don't think anybody's in it. I don't think there's nothing in it. The building is still there to this day. But that school was wild, man. They probably just shut that school down because it just unruly. It was, anything went in that school. I've never been to a school like that in my life, where people could get beat up and just, you wouldn't get suspended. They wouldn't even break fights up. They just let you fight. And when y'all stop, then they just, if it was a fight at the school, y'all go ahead and fight. And when the fight's over, you go home, you go home. If y'all fight in school, they let you fight it out, and then they separate y'all, and just one sit on this side of the class, the other one sit on the other side of the class. It was like no punishment for nothing. So it didn't deter people. There was nothing to deter you from doing things. So that's why it was so crazy up there. It was no penalty for nothing. So if there's no penalty for nothing, people just going to do whatever. They ran the school like it was a prison or something. It's no penalty up here. That's why my mother pulled me up out of there. I did my time up there. I did the whole time there. I went there from kindergarten through third grade. And my mother got tired of me going to school like that. Oh my God, it was wild up there, man. It's a few more stories that I could tell y'all. I might tell y'all a couple more from up there, but with that school, it was like every time it was a fight, it was bloodshed, because people would just go to the extreme up there because it was like there was no consequence. So you just did whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you dealing with like I said, it's Lower Park Heights. So these are the children of some thorough adults. It's a wild neighborhood around there, man. It was just like anything goes, and it shapes your thinking, and that's why it was such a almost a culture shock once I left from out of that environment and started going to school in the county, because it was like a whole different. It's like here, it's just rules for everything. It's like it's so easy to get in trouble in county schools, whereas those city schools, it's like anything goes, do whatever, and it's like no consequence. So you just always thinking of doing things on the extreme level, and not worried about getting in any kind of trouble. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to the county schools, and it's like, the slightest thing, you could get suspended or get put out. For the things that was going on in Malcolm X would never be tolerated in any county school, nowhere. The stuff that was going on in that school. And it was just ridiculous up there. And that's probably why they closed it down. Because so much, the school was just unruly. It's like they couldn't control these children. They fostered an environment where the kids just didn't care. And so they couldn't stop it. So they had to close the whole school down. I don't think it's a coincidence that all the schools that were in that Lower Park Heights community have closed down. All of them. They closed all of them down because they all fostered that same environment. Just do whatever you want. And it's like, we're not going to do anything to stop it. So it was ridiculous, man. But like I said, that was one of the craziest fights. The time the dude got his head bust open to the white meat with a hot tray in the cafeteria. A hot aluminum tray they used to have the food in. Them hot, slimy turkey slices with gravy with a couple vegetables in it. He took that thing and balled it up, got a little point on it, hit him upside the head, bust his head wide open. Remember, like Ric Flair in a cage match. Bust his head clean open. Neither one of them got suspended. and send dude to the nurse. Came back to class. He in class putting paper towels and stuff on his head, and then he had to take it off and get a clean one. And you could see that it was busted of white meat. White meat with a hot tray. No suspension, no detention. They might have called home. Might have. I don't know. But I don't remember either one of them missing a day of school. It was just it's another day. In Malcolm X. Crazy. All right. That's the shorty for the day. I'm out.